Hello， 大家好，我是环发的阿海，今天很开心邀请到 Ian McLeod 全球品牌发展总监，我们的好朋友 Mr. Gordon。Hello，
你好，你好。
Welcome, Gordon. In China today, there are many fans of Tendu whiskey. I would like to ask for the fans of Tendu, will there be a new special release of Chinese New Year edition coming?
Well, of course there will be. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think we've had 3 releases so far. The last being this one here, Year of the Rabbit, was last year. And so for Year of the Dragon next year, we will of course produce a limited edition Tamdu release specifically for China. So we're very excited by that. So yes, there will be a release for Chinese New Year next year.
Okay, we all look forward for the special release.
Yeah.
Okay, in addition to the Chinese New Year edition, can you disclose some next bottling plan or upcoming release of Tendu?
Of course, yeah. No, look, I mean, I think, look at the selection of whiskies we've got here. Tamdu started with a 10-year-old about 8 years ago. That was the only whiskey we had, and then we introduced the batch strength. We're now on to number 8 or 9 of the batch strength. We've introduced some wonderful single casks, a cigar malt, the distinction, all matured in American oak Oloroso sherry. So for next year, we will have a new distinction. There will be some new single casks. There will be a new batch strength. There's always something new coming from Tamdu. But the one thing to be aware of is we sell all of our whiskey and we have very limited stocks. So we have to work within the confines of what we have. But we will always look to produce something new for global markets such as China.
It's great. We all know that Tendu has a very high proportion of European oak cask inventory, but there are also many American oak in single cask currently on sale. Could you share a little bit more about this and how Tendu selects and grades different wood for whiskey maturation?
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, I think the first thing is, you know, an Oloroso sherry cask can either be European oak or American oak. They garner very different styles, and in our core range of our 12, our 15, our 18, we marry those together, American oak and European oak, in different proportions. In the single cask world, if we look at this as a single cask here, that's a European oak, very dark color, those richer, darker flavors, raisins and, you know, almost sort of tannic, a little bit tannic. American oak develops a bit of a lighter style, a bit of a wider, fruitier profile, which a lot of people really love in a single cask form. Sandy McIntyre, our distillery manager, prefers an American oak single cask. But what we do is we look at our limited inventory of casks, and we will select both European oak single casks and American oak single casks, because that is our story. So they are the best of the best. They are casks that have gone off in little different directions, and we feel they'll be best used as a single cask, but not very many, maybe only 10 per year.
Okay. In the YouTube video, Tendu Live with Sandy and Gordon, I saw a very interesting question. Could you please explain again what to do if the alcohol content of the liquor is less than 40%?
Yeah, no, I mean, it's interesting. Firstly, you know, you have to pay tax on everything, so you would still pay tax on that whiskey, but we certainly, you know, even though a particular cask may drop below 40%, that doesn't mean, you know, it's not still liquid we can use. And that's the really important aspect of, maybe it's at 39.5% alcohol. If we were to combine that with a whiskey at 43% alcohol, we have an average that is higher. So we can blend it back into whiskey to make sure it's above 40%. So we would not throw that away. That is not something we would do. It's something that we would utilize in terms of in one of our blends, maybe to make a slightly older whiskey or 25-year-old or whatever it may be.
The 2 versions of Tendu cigar malt were both very wonderful.
They
but
were.
now many Chinese consumers choose Chinese cigar brands, such as the Huanghelou, which are very popular in China. Could Tendu consider matching it with the third edition of cigar malt?
I mean, I think when we created cigar malt, we wanted something that would accompany a wide breadth of cigars. I think the first thing to remember about this whiskey, it's a global release, so it covers a lot of different countries. We've worked on a basis of trying to work to a style of whiskey that would work with a lot of cigars, a strength at 53.8, which I think helps to really work with the strength of the cigar as well. This is all first fill. That's the unique element of this whiskey, 100% first fill. And each time we blend that together, we'll be using different hogsheads or butts of European oak to give a slightly different style to each cigar malt. That's not to say that in the future we may not work with, or we may work with a cigar producer in certain countries to work on a very specific cigar malt. That's something that could be something we may look at, but not for version 3, maybe 4, 5 or 6.
4 or 5. Okay, that's great. Thank you, Gordon.
It's been a pleasure. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you for your time today, and it would be a pleasure to discuss more about Rosebank and Glengoyne with you next time.
Absolutely happy to talk to you about Rosebank. Just to give you an update, Rosebank is producing now. We have filled our first cask of Rosebank, so very exciting. And Glengoyne, fabulous whiskey. Anytime.
OK，OK， 那今天就到这里了。We can say goodbye to the
Goodbye.
video. OK, goodbye, guys.
Bye bye.